New Zealand. It's becoming more and more racist in a left-wing way that is a huge warning to Australia, now with Labor in charge. Only 17% of New Zealanders have Maori ancestry, but the very woke Ardern Labor government is increasingly running the country as a partnership where Maori should have 50% of the say. But more than that, its education department now wants to indoctrinate children in a way that destroys Western science and turns Maori beliefs into gospel. Its new green paper to supposedly decolonise the curriculum makes traditional Maori knowledge the equivalent of science. But unlike science, that traditional knowledge cannot be questioned, cannot be tested. In fact, when 7 eminent professors from Auckland University challenged this, they were accused of racism in an open letter signed by more than 2,000 university staff. Joining me from New Zealand is David Farrar, who worked for 2 National Party Prime Ministers and runs Kiwiblog, the best political blog in New Zealand. David, thanks for joining us. What is the Ardern government trying to do here?
Well, it's not just the government. It's almost the entire bureaucracy have signed up to the view that the treaty is a partnership, and that means doing everything we can to honour the treaty as they see it. And the example you gave of those 7 professors is a great one, because not only did they get condemned by their own university and by the Royal Society of New Zealand and 2,000 of their peers, but the Royal Society of New Zealand actually launched disciplinary proceedings against them for defending science. So the body charged with promoting science in New Zealand actually lost them out because they defended science. And they backed down eventually because, in fact, scientists overseas like Richard Dawkins got involved and said, look, you're going to be a laughingstock if you do this. But that's the sort of climate you've got in New Zealand, where anyone who says, as these 7 professors did, they were very careful to say, Maori knowledge is great, there's much to admire of it, it should be taught in schools, but it shouldn't be taught as science, because science is very particular stuff that's been developed through the scientific method. And yeah, that just got lost because people were virtue signalling, really. And another interesting aspect here, Andrew, is my company, which is a polling company, we actually did a survey of academics about academic freedom, because if there's anyone in New Zealand who should be able to speak up, it should be academics, because they've got a law that says you can't be sacked. You have the statutory right to be controversial, to say what you think. And we asked them, well, how free do you think you are to, question received wisdom, to debate or discuss treaty issues? And we gave them a 0 to 10 scale. 50% of academics gave a score of under 5 out of 10 for how free they feel to debate treaty issues. And in fact, 30% gave a score below 2.5, which must mean that they're terrified. They just know if they actually say what they think, they're going to be stamped on.
David, it is an absolute nightmare, and I'm afraid that you are just a few steps ahead of us. It's coming here. David Farrar, thank you so much for your time.